It sounds almost like anybody with enough money these days can decide to start producing their own EVs. The reality is that it took companies from Legacy Auto, Toyota, Honda, decades to get things right. So should we be worried about Xiaomi and their new EVs? You might be a bit unsure, so I thought it would be a really good idea to make a video so that we can break it down and see what to expect from what is actually a very, very successful company that make really, really fantastic products. Thanks for joining me. I'm Ben Alexander, and I talk about the latest EV news around the world, and I make videos every single day. Stick around until the end, and then let me know your thoughts on it in the comments. Also, thank you very much to those of you that have been supporting on Patreon and YouTube memberships or Buy Me a Coffee. Links to these are below in the description, and they cost about $3 a month, but you can pay a little bit more if you want. The easiest and cheapest way to support me, though, is by pressing the like button and click subscribe to and the notification bell next to it. Most of the people that watch my videos aren't actually subscribed, so do me a favour if you could and click subscribe. This video might be a bit longer than normal, but it is very, very interesting. So pause it, go grab a drink, cup of tea, cup of coffee, settle in and watch it till the end. Let me know your thoughts. If you're wondering how a company like Xiaomi can be a threat to BYD, then basically Xiaomi is one of the very biggest tech companies in China. They sell their products around the world really successfully, and they announced recently that they will spend billions, I think it was 10 billion US dollars equivalent of, setting up the new Xiaomi electric vehicle business. So this is akin, if you're a bit unsure what that really means, this is akin to Apple saying, we're going to start making EVs and selling them around the world. That's kind of what this is like. It's very, very, very big deal. Their products generally are fantastic and they look great almost always. And on a technical level, they're really built properly well, really, really well. I've actually done a video as well opening up a Xiaomi phone. I'll put that in the description below. And they are genuinely a piece of art. They even produce phones that charge 120 watts reliably, and their phones and other tech generally is up there with the very best tech that you can get for ordinary amounts of money. But their phones, for example, are 1/3 to 1/2 the price of Apple phones. But they are significantly, and I mean significantly, better. It's really that simple. So they give you far more for a reasonable price. The EV industry is witnessing a really big, massive shift to, as established giants such as Honda, Toyota, and tech titans alike set their sights on electrification of one way or another, EVs, hybrids, that sort of thing. Some companies slower than others, Toyota. In this landscape, though, of innovation and competition, the clash between automakers like BYD and technology powerhouses, and I really do mean technology powerhouse, Xiaomi, has garnered a lot of attention all over the media around the world. So as Xiaomi gears up, no pun intended, to enter the EV market, some people may be wondering, can BYD withstand the might of Xiaomi and the rest of the world, as well as that, on top of Xiaomi? So let's delve into the factors and have a look what's at play, assess whether BYD is poised to maintain its position in the face of these new challenges. And I did say to you in, I think, maybe my last video or the one before, the next 5 years will see a huge amount of change, mark my words. Huge things are happening. BYD has basically carved a distinguished path in the EV world for a few reasons. It was one of the early adopters of electric mobility, and its electric buses and cars have gained huge recognition around the world, especially after Wolfgang Egger, the German/Italian designer that worked for Audi and Alfa Romeo, stepped on board and designed basically BYD's most successful vehicles to date, at least arguably, I would say. With a foundation in battery technology and starting 20 years ago as an electronics company themselves, BYD has vertical integration basically that spans from battery production to designing and vehicle manufacturing, giving it basically that competitive edge that other companies might not have, and they generally don't. They are now selling huge amounts of EVs, and I mean huge amounts, and are racking up massive profits. Huge, eye-watering profits. On the other hand, though, Xiaomi, a household name in the tech realm, is preparing to make its debut in the EV world too, which is a really big deal, armed with its technological prowess and extensive consumer reach. These two things are a big deal. Xiaomi poses a massive challenge to established players. So the company has the ability to seamlessly integrate smart connectivity and this sort of quirky tech that you get in a lot of things these days, like robotic vacuums, for example. And that potentially will reshape the driving experience for their cars. Personally, I've been seen to rave a little bit about how good Xiaomi products are. I personally have used their phones, for example, and their robotic vacuums and whatnot for years, and they offer an incredible product whilst keeping the prices at reasonable levels, which is where companies often falter. Like Dyson, they make a pretty subpar product and ask for premium prices, and it's happening all over the world, all sorts of industries. Xiaomi generally don't do that. So, for example, just have a look at some of their phones for sale. Look at the specs, look at the reviews, look at some YouTube videos, and you'll see what I mean. You'll see that Apple are way overpriced, and I think it's more than just Apple taking a little bit extra so that they can sell a phone that's in their ecosystem. They are really, really having a laugh, I think, at our expense. Some factors favouring BYD's experience in the EV world now provides it with a massive head start, with years and years of refining its tech and production processes. BYD has a deep understanding of the EV market's nuances. There is a lot to think about, like where you get the minerals from for the batteries, and how many staff to have on hand, and how do you employ these staff in what sort of format. There are lots of things to think about. And they've sold millions of cars to date. Diversification. BYD has diversified its offerings beyond passenger vehicles. They sell electric buses, commercial vehicles, and energy storage now, which contribute to a broader revenue stream, so they can make money from different things. It's like they've got a basket with different types of eggs in it. It's really quite clever. They've got a global presence now, not so much in Europe, but it is there. They're working on that this year. BYD's presence extends way beyond China. Its partnership and operations in various countries around the world have a massive footprint now. So not vertical integration, I've mentioned this once or twice before. BYD's vertical integration, particularly in battery manufacturing, gives it a degree of self-reliance that is underestimated, I think. That can be crucial in rapidly evolving markets where things are just changing crazily. If you've got control over all the different aspects of your business, that's a big deal. You don't need to spend 3 months signing contracts and figuring things and redesigning things. You can make the decisions very quickly, and things can change quickly. Again, a big deal. Established reputation. BYD's reputation as an early entrant and reliable EV manufacturer could continue to resonate, I think, with consumers, bolstering some brand loyalty. This is also, again, a big thing that I think will really help BYD in the future. When people that have bought a BYD EV, they've enjoyed it for 3 or 4 years, and they think, I'll go get the new one. While BYD holds quite a few advantages, it must address that there are certain challenges to maintain its standing as it is now, and it's worked really hard over the last 5 or 10 years for this. Technological innovation is one of them. As Xiaomi enters the EV market, BYD must continually innovate to keep pace with the tech-driven advancements that Xiaomi might bring to the table. Competition from new entrants is another thing to think about. Xiaomi's entry is not only challenge for BYD, but there's a plethora of new entrants, both traditional automakers, legacy, Honda, Toyota, things like that, and tech companies are vying for a slice of the pie, basically a share of the EV market. Changing consumer preferences. This is a big deal these days, more so than I first realized a couple of years ago. Evolving consumer preferences and demands for smart, connected vehicles might necessitate BYD's adaptation to new paradigms, basically. Companies like NIO identify with their vehicles as being something like a smartphone on wheels, more so than just a vehicle with a fancy screen on it. And regulatory changes, changing government policies around the world, things like this are changing like crazy every 6 months. And regulations could impact BYD's operations, basically, particularly as more countries prioritize electrification. The impending face-off between BYD and Xiaomi in the EV arena, if you can call it an arena, underscores the industry's dynamic nature, I'd say. BYD's resilience is rooted in its experience, diversification, global presence, and reputation. However, Xiaomi's entry brings an element of uncertainty that BYD must navigate through. But this, I think, is just standard business practice to have to challenge these things. BYD's ability to innovate and adapt and leverage its strengths will be pivotal, I would imagine, for their survival. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button so that YouTube know that people are enjoying it, and subscribe for more daily videos about electric vehicles.